Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's episode is about Beyond slash Waveform Records. Beyond Records was an ambient chill out record slash label slash, but they also had dub and a little bit and some techno as well. And they started roughly in 1993 with a few compilations and then a few albums, and had some good success. But unfortunately, I think the UK division petered out in like 94, 95, not very long after. Probably, I don't know, maybe 10 releases in or something like that. And then, strangely enough, and I'd be interested to interview somebody on why and just get the back history, but there were all the way in Arizona, Waveform Records sort of took over. There was a time where a few releases were on both labels, and there was some crossover happening for like 90% of the label was on CDs. A few of the early ones were on records, but most of them were on CD. And for the amount of material they had was just really important for my knowledge and gaining sort of an idea of what I liked within down tempo genres like ambient and dub and even techno. And yeah, they just put out some excellent stuff. I think I have probably most of it, but one of their early strong producers that were on there was Higher Intelligence Agency, which is Bobby Byrd. BYRD. This is his album Colorform, which got reissued a couple years ago. This is an original copy here. This one verges on IDM, but it's still kind of ambient dub and sort of down tempo. Speed Learn was on a few compilations. I think it also got a. I always forget which track this is. Is this Speed Learn? Yeah, this has some remixes and one of them's on here. But also Delta was a strong earlier one that was on a few albums, and Kentamine Entity was also another good one, and Change. Just a very strong album here. I think I'm not sure if our early copies were in blue vinyl as well, but mine were just the regular white ones, and that's the Beyond logo. Really like the font here, and the bubble. Right there's the Beyond label with the big swoop underneath, or I should say it's the opposite way. Beyond Records. And then Waveform was pretty much, same. They ended up using the same font, but just different logo. But just a great early record. They followed that up with Free Floater, which I don't have on record. Hubble, Fleagle, Elapse, Skank are some of my favorites on here. And there's the new Waveform logo at the top there. The M at the end is kind of a little squiggly, and the R is kind of big, and the F is kind of big, so that's kind of the idea with the waveform. And then on top it has like a little squiggly circle with like a sort of like a waveform inside of it. And yeah, this is another strong one that got reissued in recent years. There's the old HIA logo. HIA did some really strong records, and they were touring back in the days and live and playing with chill outs and raves and playing with Autech and some of the really strong leaders of that sound in that generation. Unfortunately, just not putting out a lot of material, which is kind of unfortunate. But there's also some stuff on some compilations and things like that, but just really strong stuff. Here's the the CD for color form. Love the blue. And this one, see, this one is on Waveform. This is the old stock that Waveform used. So they, you know, even as soon as that, they branched over into Waveform already, even halfway through the release. Unfortunately, there was like 3 EPs where that were really impactful. I can't find my records. I think I just have part 2 and part 3, but I think there was 3 EPs. I think it was Earth Juice, something. Each one had a name, and they were double packs of ambient dub, which was very, very inspirational and very influential to people in UK that know them. I wish I could find them, but just imagine me here with them talking about them. But unfortunately, I don't. A lot of those artists went over to the other series though, and that's and they called them 1AD, and then 2AD, and etc. And hired intelligence agencies on here. Of course, Rockers, Hi-Fi, Positive Life, Banco de Gallo, GOL, Pentatonic. Those are some of the popular ones that made this, and I still have a sealed one. You know, if anybody wants one, you can buy this if you want to. Just contact me. I should eventually on here. I'm gonna start selling records when I'm old. I'll start selling on YouTube and do like bidders, like $5, $7. It's gonna be me on YouTube. But yeah, real influential series here. Here's 2AD, which was my first Waveform purchase when this came out. Man, I love the bubbles on here. If you guys know the Psychotrance series on Moonshine Records, had this. Quite a few kind of was doing this kind of X-Mix kind of graphics with the bubbles and stuff like that. Very, very computer graphic at the time. But this compilation is, if you just had any one record from this, it would have to be this compilation. It has the Star Seeds on here, which is their only appearance on here, and it's a great track. It's called Behind the Sun. It's a deep ambient mix. Cold Cuts, Autumn Leaves is on here. The Irresistible Force remix, so just an all-time classic, is on here. Then you got Triangle from Sounds from the Ground, which, you know, unfortunately I get some bad some bad comments on, but Sounds of the Ground, that album that Triangle came from. Triangle is a great track. It's kind of a classic ambient dub track, but the album it comes from is not good, and it's one of the only bad reviews I have on Discogs, and it gets a lot of comments. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but it gets some, you know, it raises some eyebrows. But that's just me being honest. I think I might have it here. Then you have Groove Corporation, which is a great track. Positive Life's on here. Biosphere, which is where I first heard Baby. Actually, it's probably right around the same time I heard Baby Interfere, because I've heard it on Gravity before. Tortoise on here from Higher Intelligent Agency. Human Mesh Dance, Sunken Garden, which is a great track, which I think is only on this EP. Insanity Sec, which I'm not sure if I pulled that CD. Also Positive Light, Aquasonic. So just an amazing compilation. You'll see on some of the compilations they pulled a lot of tracks from other Waveform compilations to make a compilation, and that was kind of lame. Because if you did want to buy it, you kind of already had the tracks on something else. But in this period, like this one had 1, 2, technically 3. Well, technically 4. 4 of the 10 were on album, so even there, you know, it's okay. But I had this first, so that was nice. But if you're a collector of a label or something, you just you know, sometimes don't want to buy a compilation because you have most on it. But those 6 songs that are on here, if you don't have them somewhere else, you'd be missing out. Here's 3AD, right? And this was kind of the end of it for a while there, since 1996. This label took, I mean, Waveform took a break from like '96 to like 2002, and then they came back. For some reason, they just kind of left, and they made a rousing return when 4AD came back. This compilation's fantastic. This is quintessential psychedelic kind of ambient dub. There's some island flavor on here. There's some dub. I wouldn't say a little bit of reggae, but there is kind of some. That's what I call island flavor on here. But it's not really reggae. I don't want to say reggae because people will think like Bob Marley or something. Like when I say dub, dub, King Tubby and King T, King Tubby, Scientist, stuff like that. That's what we call dub. And when I say island flavor, that's kind of like a mix of reggae and dub. So it's not fully dub, but it's not all the way reggae. And this has some really good. Oh man, it's just a lot of great tracks on here. Just so many good tracks on here. This is such an underrated comp. I'm not going to name one, but there's like 5 on here that I love. Well, I will mention one track. Mystical Sun, Blue Magnetic Ocean. It's such a great track. But oh man, such a great track. And then some of their other releases. Here's Future Primitive. This one's called Subconscious. It's a really good one. Kind of a little bit of Psy on here. Psy dub, Psy ambient, kind of our early stages. This is like, I think this came out like 98, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there. It's a good one. This one's back in the earlier days of Beyond, so this one came out on Beyond. This one's another fine day, Life Before Land. The Lazy Daisy is such a great track, such a great chill out track. And there's some strong ones on here as well. This is considered one of the classics on this label. I think a lot of people would say this would be a great one to reissue. I can't argue with them. That would be really nice to reissue this on vinyl. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs. So 7 songs would fit nice on a 2x12, considering these are probably some of the long ones. Also, the Magnificent 2, TUU. This is Martin Franklin, and I can't remember the other. I might be doing something with 2 in the future. We've chatted, and I'd really like to put a few of these tracks on an EP. And the thing that I think will really benefit from this being on analog is a lot of these are like water drums and really deep bass notes and very eerie. And I think they would sound amazing on vinyl. So I'm hoping to put some of these on vinyl. And again, this is all our ancestors and the 1,000 years. This is some Aboriginal. Tribal is an understatement for these. These are Aboriginal, if that's how you say it, Aboriginal electronic music. Like this sounds like water drums and very organic sounding, very spooky. It sounds like the beginning of time on some of these. There is sort of a Eastern influence in here, a little bit of ancient kind of ancient kind of feeling in here. Like it sounds like you're in a lost tribe, like you're in a maze, like choose your own adventure kind of story. Like this would be the soundtrack to those. Like these are super. Listening to these is like listening to is like reading a murder mystery, your favorite murder mystery. Like you're just like, is this what I'm reading? Is this what I'm hearing? Like, this is really kind of cool. Wouldn't say spooky, but there's definitely a lot of eeriness on there, and these verge on the darker side, and they're just amazing. I mean, there's probably my favorite stuff on here. Since there's 2 albums, there's others. I might like A Positive Life more. Color Box is up there as far as like one release, but since there's 2, like 2 is probably my favorite project on on Waveform. And then this one's another color form or higher intelligent agency. This is the Reform EP. This is kind of known because it has the Autech remix of Speech 3. That's why this one's kind of valuable. This one's kind of Autech wasn't doing a lot of remixes in 93, 94. You know, probably only just a handful at the time. And this is one of them. You also have the Pentatonic remix of Alpha 1999. And then you have a remix of Speed Learn by Irresistible Force. And then you have a remix by A Positive Life, Universal Entity. So just an amazing EP right there. Moving on. This one's back on Beyond Records. So this one's a Seed. Vertical Memory by Seed. This is probably my least listened to one. I remember when I was collecting these, this is like one of the last ones I got, and I didn't spend too much time with it, so it's probably my homework for the day. But I need to get to know this one a little bit better. The only tracks I can speak to are, I can't speak to any that I remember from the name, but I'm sure I have to have one or two on a compilation, I'm sure, somewhere. Here's a later CD. They ended up doing the actual cardboard on this one instead of the plastic, and this one is by Gray Area. It's called And Then Clouds. This was kind of the start of what I had hoped was them start releasing a lot more new music by new bands or new artists. This is the only release by Gray Clouds on their label, and it's good. It's good. It's in the ambient dub, realm. It's good. It's solid. But man, I think this was 2004, 2005, and I was just hoping that, I was like, Waveform's back. They're going to be releasing a lot of great new music. And they just kind of petered out. Here's Open Canvas. This is Nomadic Impressions. And again, usually with these is like one or two songs are probably on a compilation. And you know them from almost more from those names from the compilation. From the album. I like the artwork they were doing too as well, and they're matching CDs and stuff too. So the presentation was on point. Just a small label putting out nice quality ambient dub, but just somehow, look how that pops. That is really cool. Love that artwork. Is the music as good as the artwork on this? It's okay. It's good. I wouldn't say Open Canvas is one of my favorites from here, and I think I gave them another shot on this one, and this one was okay too. This one's a Doom Endurmani. Probably my least favorite artist. No offense if you're watching Open Canvas, but probably my least favorite artist on here. Here's Blue Tech's early one. Blue Tech went on to be quite a famous side producer. This is one of his first releases. This is Prima Materia, I think. It's a little overrated for me. I'm not big into side dub, and this is kind of leaning into that, and I feel like a lot of side dub kind of loses the psychedelic and ambient part of it, and becomes a little too cheesy, and this is a good example. So those are my least favorite ones, right? Those two, Open Canvas and the Blue Tech. The Omnimotion is good. This one's just self-titled. This one's solid. Here's the Sounds from the Ground. The triangles on. This is the one I kind of gave a bad review on. Sorry. You'll have to excuse me. Sounds from Ground and the Blue Tech ones. The Open Canvas ones are a little bit better than the Sounds from the Ground. I always get Open Canvas and Sounds from the Ground it probably is because I have two of the albums of them each, and I get confused. Um, the Sounds of the Ground is the ones I don't really necessarily like. Open Canvas a little bit better, but Triangle on here is good. Is classic. That track's classic. I just feel like these are kind of like a little bit all over the place, kind of cheesy. Um, Here's a great early one, which I need to get it in a plastic sleeve. This is Buried Dreams by David Toop and Max Easley. I have it in a plastic sleeve, but I need to get it into a proper plastic sleeve. But this is from Beyond Records. So the track Buried Dreams, or Buried Rights, is it? Burial Rights. It's really good. If you guys like, I don't know how to say his name. Yuki, or who else? Who's that artist? He passed away. Anyway, this is kind of more like tribal, kind of darker music, which is really cool. I was trying to compare it to two artists, and I'm forgetting both artists. The Gloss. What's the name of the Gloss? God, it's gonna bother me. Here's one of the ambient dub compilations. This one's Volume 3. From when they were on Beyond. So this is one of the I have two, and then this one on vinyl, and I also have this one on CD. But this one's really strong, really strong. I really like the Corporation track on here. It's like Love or something like that. I can't read. It's so small. Here's two from 01. 01 was kind of I wouldn't say amateur artist, but he's kind of making techno and some down tempo, but that's kind of the appeal of some of these. Excuse me, of smaller labels. They do take a chance on some of these artists and put their stuff out and see who likes it. These aren't as produced, as well produced as most of the music on here, but they have some charm to them. There's some good songs. There's some bad songs. I wouldn't say bad songs. None of the stuff on here is bad. It's just doesn't really do anything for me. It's just okay, but it just doesn't really, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get your attention if you play it on the background. Let alone it has you rewinding in a couple, like you love it. They're just kind of like okay. They just kind of go. But based on the logos and the artwork, like you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. It's kind of sci-fi a little bit, kind of flighty, futuristic, But in a way, also it's kind of primitive a little bit, like the artwork is. So a lot of times artwork is a great example of stuff. And sure enough, it is on a lot of these. Here's a really good compilation, Sunset Magnetic North. This one has Sandcastles by Pilgrims of the Mind, which is such a fantastic track. This one's they kind of pulled some artists from and that's why it's maybe called Magnetic North, because it's from a lot of the artists. From the label Inner Chill, right? I don't know if this came out of Inner Chill, but it's got Legion of Green Men on here. It's got Adam Shake on here. Shout out to Adam. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying out of the fires in Vancouver. Staying safe. Pilgrims of the Mind from Vancouver. Macchio is on here. Zion Train. So this has a lot of artists that were on Inner Chill Records, and I'm not sure if that's why it's called Sunset Magnetic North, but yeah, this is a strong album. Slumberland 1 and 2. This has some cool stuff on it. For like number 1 has just a kind of random old ambient track from David Bruin called Crater Lake. Really cool track. The Golden Needle by A Produce. A Produce is a very underrated ambient artist. And then it has some artists that are kind of in the side genre, and they're really good tracks too. Hemisphere, Om, Sanjiva. Um, yeah, those are really good. The part two I don't remember is that good as good. Does have Richard Wanfried on here, aka Klaus Schultz. Um, Sanjiva's also on here. Um, Second one's I remember the first one really well, but the second one I don't remember as much. It's been a few years since I've heard these. I do definitely remember Voodoo 1 and Voodoo 2. Well, Voodoo 2 mostly. Voodoo 2 has, Voodoo Rue number 1 has a couple really great tracks that I'd really like. This track called Paris by Transgroove is a really great track. Tosca's on here, which is really cool. Journeyman's 3001 is on here. XIS, Exploring Inner Space, Sunwalker's on here. This has some good tracks for sure. A Deep Dive Corporation, Unimagination also is good. And like the early '90s too. Here's the compilation. Has a lot of the other releases on the label. There's 16 right here. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 of the 16 that's on here. But also there's an order form on here, which is cool, and it kind of tells you the list of releases, which is cool. Voodoo Rue 2. Oh man, I can't read the handwriting here. XIS is on here as well. Don't remember the second one as much though. Here's Earth Dub, Shaba, Earth Juice. This one has probably too many tracks from the compilations. But I'm sorry, no, that's actually Ancient Alien. This compilation has too many tracks from other tracks. It has 3 from. Well, the first 5 tracks are A Positive Life. There's 6 tracks. 6 of the 9 are A Positive Life. There's one pentatonic song, Triangles, on here from Sounds of Ground, which is on 2 other compilations. And then most of the tracks are from A Positive Life's album. Earth Juice is unique because it thankfully doesn't have a lot of other artists. This is mostly more ones on the island dub kind of sound. Yeah, and then also here's a Positive Life. Got 2 copies of Synesthetic. I always have such a hard time pronouncing that. Here's the original vinyl, which is cool. And then here's a sealed copy of the reissue. So this is my label right here. I'm sorry, this one. This is Rediscovery here. There's my logo right there. So I was lucky enough to get a chance to reissue this. So originally he had the artwork like so, and he wanted us and the graphic guy to kind of reimagine what he felt like, and he, at the time, the computer graphics probably weren't up to speed of what he wanted. It kind of just looks like a shadow of a ball. Where this one's a little different, where if you look at it, if you look at it for a long time, things will start to move. And it's because of the shading inside of some of the boxes. And then the circles on them. And some are different. But these ones all have small, it's hard to see in there, but it's just a little bit different. It's not all solid green. That was not all solid grain. They're just a little bit differently. So you stare at this for a while, your eyes will start to see things, and that's the idea behind the graphics of what he originally wanted. The cool thing is we kind of kept the same, so it has the track titles, with the line on there, right? Doesn't necessarily go over to the side, but it has the track title, the track times, right? So we kind of did that on here on the side and into the back, into the song titles, which was a nice touch, I thought. I have an open version. Well, actually, I should have. I was going to show you the insert, but I thought I brought it, but here's the test pressing of it, which, I have 5 test pressings of it. It was a double record, and I put them in the original box sleeve that they got sent to me from the pressing plant. But really cool, really glad that we were able to do this reissue. It's obviously a really crucial ambient techno record and one of the best on Waveform. I think we did 800 copies of this, so it did fairly well, considering there's probably some unsold copies out there. I still have a couple for my personal collection. This is one of them, sealed. But yeah, it's just really nice to be involved in it, and just really cool to be involved in bringing something that was really important for my youth to the market. And that's what it's all about, kind of giving back a little bit. Love the artwork. Nice classy design by a gentleman by the name of David Watson did this for us. This is the 4th release on my label. It came out, I think, a little bit over 2 years ago now. But yeah, that's my video on Waveform Records and Beyond Records. I don't think there's anything in the label that there's really nothing. Oh, there's a couple more. There's this one. Here's the color form CD. I didn't show you that earlier. This one came out last couple of years, which was interesting. They actually sold this with a CDR, just a plain CDR. They didn't even manufacture it. They just gave me this. Isn't that strange? Just really strange. It's okay. There's nothing great on here. I was a little disappointed in it, but if I'm not mistaken, this was the last thing I bought from them. The funny thing is, so I had probably about, I don't know, maybe about 10 of these CDs off Waveform and Beyond in the 90s. And then around like 2004, I got in touch with Waveform Records, and I was like, I didn't know that they were still around, and they had just started with all these, like, probably more than half of these I bought that one day, and just had them all shipped to me. I think I spent like $250 and got like, I don't know, if I had 25, I had 10, and then I bought 15. So I just, so I pretty much bought all the rest of the ones up to that point that I liked. And there's a few kind of came out there, but nothing really that caught my mind. But then they went dormant again, like in, I don't know, 2008 or 2007 or something like that, and then came back and had a couple things. And one of them was this, and I bought it, and it was a CDR. Strange. I don't know what happened with that. Why would I get a CDR? Why would I pay for a CDR? I don't know. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it is about the music. But here's an old catalog. This is kind of promoting 20 years of Sounds of the Ground releases, and it has all the art, all the releases on there. That's kind of interesting. This is also something I got. It's kind of a Waveform catalog here on the front. Oops. Waveform catalog. The Exotic Electronica, we call it. And it's pretty much has most releases on here. They did start this series, which I was hoping to get, right here. These Waveform 1, 2, and 3. Hoping to get those, and hopefully those are like the 180s or the 480s, and hoping those will be like it. And there is a couple of releases on here that I don't have that, I mean, look pretty cool. But I haven't got a chance to check out. This compilation, I mean, this I'm not sure what. I would assume this is from 2017, 2018 when I got the CD, because I got this sent in the mail. Because it has the receipt in here. Yeah, so I paid. That's right. I wanted another copy of Synesthesia CD, so I paid $12 for that. I paid $12 for that CDR. And it doesn't. Too bad it doesn't have a date on here. But this is probably a sort of an invoice from Bandcamp at the time, or something like that. It looks like. But it's shipped from Hawaii. P.O. Box from Hawaii, and that makes sense with the Maui. This one's called Maui Chill Volume 2. But there's a couple of cool ones on here that I do remember seeing that I haven't got a chance to get around to. So it did look like they started up back in 2017, 2018, and because there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe about 9 records I don't recall, and they are new artists, so I'll have to look into that and see if they're any good. But I'll always support Waveform and Beyond Records for what it meant to me, and I'm always down with the ambient dub, the chill out vibes, of Waveform. But yeah, that's my video on Beyond Records and Waveform. Just curious, do you have a top 3 favorite CDs or records from these 2 labels? All right, thanks so much. Have a good day.